So we are going to begin this stream talking about Gears of War on the PlayStation 5, the PlayStation 5 Pro in particular. I'm just going to check to make sure that the sound is coming through because I don't have a headset. And I like to use this speaker for some reason. I don't know why. I just really enjoy using the speaker. So let's see if this is working. Doesn't look like it's working. Hold on. See. I have a real problem getting this to work sometimes. I don't know why. Hello? I have a real problem getting this. There we go. All right, so we're good to go. So let me start off by saying I think that this is a huge mistake, putting your most important games, your first-party games, your employees, your talent, you hire them to work for you. It's a piece of plastic, and you want people to purchase it. Well, there has to be a reason to purchase it. You can't just say, well, hey, these arbitrary, meaningless achievements, trophies, they're a reason to buy a video game console or, an online infrastructure. I mean, and I get it. Maybe I'm old. Maybe I'm one of those people who come from a generation that, isn't willing to, I guess, change or acquiesce to whatever a company tells me to do. But, the more I hear people say things like this is the future, the more I look to present day companies that are not doing this and being very successful. I can't get my head around the fact that Gears of War is on the PlayStation and the best version of this game is on the PlayStation 5 Pro. Like, the idea of paying $20 a month to rent Gears of War versus having the most technically advantageous version of that game, I mean, it's a no-brainer for me. I'm going to buy certain games. Gears of War is a buy. It's not a rent. Halo. I mean, Fable. Perfect Dark would have been. So this is just insane to me. Now, I have to say that if you play this game on a PlayStation 5, in particular the Pro again, this is the Pro, I mean, it feels like this game was made for the PlayStation 5. It really does, because some of the most important things in this game, like active reload, like, thumping into cover, coming out of cover, running, dodging, and Marcus communicating with Anya in his headset, all of that stuff, the shooting is the haptic triggers and the feedback in the controller. The speaker is the communicator in Marcus's ear. All of that stuff in the controller makes this game so much more immersive, so much better. And I just can't fucking believe it. I cannot believe it that one of the most important games. I mean, Halo was, Microsoft got lucky with Halo. They really did. First, it was going to be on the Macintosh, and Apple had it as a third-person, I guess, cover shooter. And then Microsoft decided to say, hey, we'll take it as a first-person shooter. And then, by the way, it worked really well with Xbox Live, and we'll roll that out. So that was luck. With the Xbox 360, they knew they needed a first-party game that highlighted what the system could do. Now, back then, they knew what a piece of software, exclusive to a piece of hardware, could do, not only for the hardware, but also for the piece of software, right? I mean, you think about something like Sonic, right? Sonic the Hedgehog was huge when it was on Sega, and then when Sega went away, it became just another third-party platform. It didn't have that prominence that it once had. It's still really, really popular, but it just meant more when Sonic was Sega hardware. And Gears is now just another third-person cover shooter, one of the best ever, and it's on PlayStation. So I just can't wrap my head around the idea that this is somehow great for the next Xbox piece of hardware. I mean, I don't understand why I'm going to buy another Xbox. What am I buying it for?
Get back in your hole!
Yeah, I went around, I looked at Digital Foundry's, overly nauseous technical breakdown. And obviously, the PlayStation 5 Pro usually is the place to be. I think with the Metal Gear 3 Delta right now, it's not. But again, that stuff is static. When a patch comes out, the PlayStation 5 Pro has more headroom. So either way, it's crazy, though, that this game has a higher frame rate, higher resolution, better textures, better shadows, better graphical techniques all throughout it on the PlayStation 5 Pro, but not on the Xbox Series X. It's just crazy to me. What's even more insane to me is all of that's okay as long as you can just rent it. It's like, why do I want to pay less to get the worst version of a game that I know is going to be one that I want to purchase? Like, why would you want to rent Gears of War? It just, I don't know. I think this is a huge mistake. I really, really do. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Look, maybe Sony decides. I will say this, right? If Sony puts one of their single-player big games, I'm not talking about, the multiplayer stuff, the games as a service stuff, the live service games. Those obviously, by definition, have to be everywhere. But if, Horizon or God of War show up on the Xbox, then, it's probably time just to buy an Xbox. Because Sony will have essentially validated what Microsoft's been doing. Which, I can't see that happening, but if it does, then, hey, I'm wrong. But I just can't imagine, like, for instance, I threw $20 to Game Pass because I'm not a subscriber just to check out this Gears of War game. And I purchased it on the PlayStation 5 Pro, and I gotta be honest, if you love Gears of War, buy it on the PlayStation 5 with the DualSense controller. If you have a PlayStation 5 Pro, it's a no-brainer. This is the absolute best version of Gears of War I've ever seen. Coupled with the controller, the haptic feedback, the adaptive triggers, the speaker and the controller, all the stuff that I talked about earlier, it's just crazy to me that Microsoft did this. There's so many things, though, that can, happen that might change all the way, I feel. So, the current prices, Sony raising the price of the PlayStation 5 Pro, which is insane to me all these years in. Usually prices go down, but they're still cheaper than a 2 terabyte Xbox Series X, which is crazy. If you buy a Pro, which is 2 terabytes, it's cheaper still than an Xbox Series X 2 terabyte, which is baffling to me.
Form up. Right with you.
I'm doing all this talking and I completely forgot what I'm supposed to do here. Here we go.
You know that nobody's been underground in years, right?
I know.
Look, man.
Obviously, I've played Gears of War a billion times,
bad
but I've never played it on PlayStation.
Outside,
I've never
broad
played
daylight,
it with DualSense
but
controller. I'll be honest, man.
In the dark?
Yeah.
It just feels better. It just does.
Don't tell Baird that. He's scared shitless as it is.
The controller really adds a lot to this game, in particular. Not to mention the extra graphical horsepower of the Pro, making this game, again, it's insane to me that the best version of Gears of War is on PlayStation versus, the I'm never going to own it and I'm going to rent it version, which is on Game Pass. It's just crazy. Like, at least put it on Game Pass and also optimize it to the point where it's the best version on the Xbox.
Baird, Cole, we're in.
What took you so long? We've been here for at least 2 minutes.
Well, good for you,
See what?
smartass.
Right now, the
Give us your location.
communication coming through the speaker
It's a dump.
really adds to the immersion.
Control, this is Delta. We're in.
Copy that. Keep moving through the factory till you find the cart control room. I'll use the carts to get you to the mine.
Delta, let's not waste any time meeting up. Let's just find that control room.
Watch out for the boogeyman.
Just see if you can get the lights back on.
See, I'm not going to
Delta
talk while they're
one out.
talking because it's coming through the speaker, and I'm using the speaker to communicate. So now we're good done. Yeah, it's just like everything just looks so good. And again, it's baffling to me that the best version of Gears of War Reloaded is going to be on another console. Like, I get it if it's on the PC and there's an infinite number of permutations for graphics cards and GPUs and all this stuff. Of course, games should look better on stronger PCs, right? But a stronger console in the console space running your first-party games better. It's just, I don't know how that's good. It's certainly not good for me, like as somebody who's been an Xbox enthusiast for a long, long time, right? I mean, I went from PlayStation 2, to the original Xbox. I had both of them. I really liked the third-party ports to the OG Xbox because of the fact that it took advantage of the Xbox in ways that the PlayStation 2 couldn't. But, seeing this game, thinking about, everything else. What about everything else? What about Halo? What about Starfield? What about everything else that Microsoft's making? It's just going to be better
Locked.
on the PlayStation. And the idea to me that, well, I'm stupid because I have to purchase the games. Like, I've never heard of that before in my life. I've never seen people enthusiastic about a product or an industry like an Xbox console or the video game industry just change so quickly because the company told them that this is going to be how things are. It's baffling to me. And I might be wrong, right? Maybe the days of you buy a console, you take it home, and third parties want to put their games there, take advantage of the system. First parties want to create things exclusive to the hardware. Maybe, in 15, 20 years, that won't be a thing, but I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about playing the best games possible in the best possible way. And it's just baffling to me that Microsoft didn't make Gears of War the best it could possibly be on the Xbox hardware. Just insane. I mean, who makes hardware to not sell software? Think about that for a second, right? The next big thing that I keep hearing about is how Steam, which I've never been interested in because I'm not a PC gamer, is somehow going to be transformative because it's going to be on the Xbox quote-unquote console. But why would I buy games from someone else's store?
I think I got it.
Yeah, Baird, you did.
Yeah, turn them off, will ya?
Huh? What?
Never mind.
Like I was saying, why would you allow me to purchase video games from someone else's store? I mean, think about third parties. Why would they create an Xbox version of a video game? They could just create a Steam version. It's just baffling. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Ceasefire! Dipshit.
Finally, the rescue team.
What are you doing in here?
Waiting for you? I'm ready to go.
We're looking for the cart control room. Where is it?
It's crazy
Well,
playing this now,
you have
and
to
there
get
isn't
down to
a
the
lot
factory
even
floor through
today
that
that still
door.
plays
But
like
it's
this.
locked.
It just
Well,
feels
how about
great.
you help us
Cover
unlock
shooter,
it?
third person
Who?
action
Me?
adventure cover shooter.
Aren't we
It
leaving?
really, really does.
Not yet. Come on.
And I
Dipshit.
I cannot believe I'm sitting here holding a PlayStation DualSense controller playing Gears of War. It just feels wrong.
This is Delta 1. Still proceeding as planned. But we have a stranded with us.
No shit. Hey, ask him if he's seen any geobots. I still need one for our junker.
Hey, Baird, keep looking for that cart control room. Phoenix out.
Let me tell you what else I think about. I think about, this value proposition thing when it comes to Game Pass. Hey, you don't have to spend money on video games. You don't have to purchase them, which is, I'm not even going to get into the economics of that and what that does to an industry and developers in the industry. Look, think about this for a second. It's a value proposition, right? $700 before. This is before you have the privilege of paying $20 or more dollars. It's going to go up. So you got to spend between $500 and $700. Let's just say next generation starts at $700, right? So you have to spend $700 first for the privilege of then subscribing perpetually to Game Pass, which is just insane to me. It's crazy.
Delta 2, come in. Watch the vents.
Roger. You're not gonna believe where we are.
Control, could you give us Delta 2's location?
GID readings are... Looks like the sewer system?
There's shit everywhere. Come on, man. A little bit of this, good for you. Builds your immune system. Yeah, it also builds disease. Delta 2 out.
No way.
You know what else I think about the whole exclusive feature of Game Pass? Like, you don't have to pay. Everyone else has to pay $40 for Gears, but you can pay $20 with the exclusive feature of Game Pass. Well, what an exclusive feature, at least for me, right? What trumps playing games through a subscription service?
Hi, boys.
Is playing the best version of every game.
Screw you, man. Get
And I
down here
don't
and see how much
purchase
you
10
like.
games,
Room for one
a
more,
clip
it's a fucking
every
party.
month.
No thanks.
Keep moving.
So
We'll see you at the
I just
carts.
can't imagine that it's going to work. I just can't imagine. And like I said, like, I'm not one of these, subscribe to me, pay to ask questions people. Right? I could be wrong. Like I said, if Sony acquiesces and puts, I don't know why I'm using the word acquiesce a lot. I think I use it twice so far. I don't know why. I don't even know why I thought that. Why am I using that word? It's weird. Anyway, if Sony decides to put their games, like if God of War or Horizon or Spider-Man and all that stuff shows up on a proper Xbox quote-unquote console, I'm not talking about a PC with an Xbox sticker, folks, because PlayStation games are already on PC. I'm talking about if I could buy something Microsoft made hardware-wise and play PlayStation games, and Sony does that and allows that, then ultimately what Microsoft is doing
Please, if we stay here, they'll
gaining
kill us for
traction to the point
sure.
where one of the most
Relax, will ya? You
prolific and
relax.
successful
Gears all
hardware
suck.
companies
Bunch of
decided
bloodthirsty fascist pigs.
ultimately throw in the tail. I don't know what that would do to PlayStation. I think it would be devastating because they're so small comparatively to Microsoft. And without PlayStation, Sony really doesn't exist. I mean, they've got the movies and cameras and the TVs and stuff like that, but PlayStation is huge for them. By the way, I mean, just look at the light. This game is so beautiful on the Pro. It's unbelievable. Like, I wanted this game to shine on the Series X, but it just doesn't. I've played it back to back. I'm playing it right now on the Series X through Game Pass, and it just doesn't look as good as this. It just doesn't. And that's insane to me. Like, what the fuck? Who greenlit that? Like, let's put our games everywhere, but let's also allow, like, the
If we cut
best
through
version
here,
of it to
you'll be all
PlayStation.
right.
It's crazy. And I get it, they got a Pro, and Microsoft doesn't have a Pro console. Maybe if they did, it would make a big difference. It would be parity. But it's not, right? The reality is it isn't parity. It's best
Shit, he's
here
gone.
on the Pro.
Careful. We need to keep moving. Just watch your step.
Damn,
I think I remember
hate
these
this
floors
place.
opening up. The difference is movies and music are not video games. And if you're looking to standardize things, then you have to look at what people are adopting, what they're digesting. They're clearly buying video games. Right? You look at Kindle, when everybody was talking about, e-books, right? And now everybody's going back to regular hardcover paperbacks because people just don't consume media the same way, and all media isn't consumed the same way. Just because people have decided to subscribe to music subscription services doesn't mean that they're going to do it with video games.
Lock and load.
And they aren't doing it with video games. Game Pass isn't at what it needs to be at to be successful. It's just not. And if people were gravitating towards that, then it would be by now. I mean, it's been what? It's got to be closing in on 10 years or a little more. And that's another thing, right? Why do you think Microsoft, of all companies, wants to standardize it? You don't think that there's a benefit in nobody owning anything and everybody having to go through the door of Windows before they play a video game? How's that freedom? How's that choice? So it's not that they're trying to standardize things. It's not that they're trying to be nice. It's not that they're trying to, you know, do anything other than what's best to give them control. And that's what every company does. I'm not trying to shit on Microsoft. I'm just saying, like, you know, there are choices that are better for Sony companies, right? And just because Sony wants to make money doesn't mean that what they're doing is it going to be better than what Microsoft will do. I mean, somebody has to make hardware, right? Somebody has to have, there has to be a place for these games to live, right? Somebody has to have the better, more selling phone, or better, best-selling tablet, or better, best-selling television. A piece of hardware has to exist for you to engage with these things. So if you agree with that, then why wouldn't a console manufacturer want to make not only the best console possible, but also give people reasons to engage with that console? The first thing you do when you're engaging with a console is purchase it, and there has to be a reason to purchase it. But I can't understand Game Pass being a reason. Game Pass, Netflix is a service, right? But I don't have to spend $700 to engage with Netflix. I have to spend $700 or more to then have the privilege of renting games through Game Pass. If Game Pass was everywhere, like a PlayStation, I swear, then, you know, we wouldn't argue, but it's not. I've never seen anybody create something, and then after they're done creating, tell you that you don't even need it. Act like they don't care if you purchase it, and then take great pieces of software, which would not only sell the hardware, right? It's not just about selling hardware and selling video games. It's about building brands. Like, what is an Xbox if it isn't Gears of War? What is Xbox if it isn't Halo? What is it? It's just this amorphous thing that you can't see, you can't touch, you can't taste. Just like a subscription service, just like a service in general, only they want you to also buy a piece of plastic, even though they don't want you to buy it until you don't. And again, I'm old. I come from a generation where, you know, we expected platform holders to create great hardware, and we also expected them to create great software for the piece of plastic that they created. And we also expected third parties to be there. That seems to be what's happening with PlayStation. Obviously, Nintendo, I don't discuss because they're completely different in terms of how they're structured as a brand. But, you know, like I said, this is crazy. I'm talking so much I don't even know where to go. Find the cart. All right, here we go. So that wood, I think, breaks, right? See what I'm saying? Like, that's always the go-to with people, but we're not living in different times, right? We're not living in different times. Right now, the number one selling console is a Switch and a PlayStation 5. The most software sales from third party are on PlayStation 5 and soon to be Switch 2. The most first-party production, taking advantage of the actual hardware, is coming from PlayStation and Nintendo. And this is 2025. So it's not that, you know, it's different times. It's just Microsoft doesn't want the advantages that their competitors have to be seen as advantages. They don't even want them to exist anymore. And the people who used to be Xbox fans are like, yeah, I mean, tailored to that sport. It should be everywhere for everybody. Let me ask you this. I'm going to go crazy now. The same people screaming about exclusivity being bad line up during draft day, right? They line up hoping that their favorite team secures that star player to play exclusively on their team. Why? Because the owners know that a star player brings people to the stadium, which means more money in ticket sales, which means more money in, concessions, which means more money for third-party vendors who sell things in the stadium. And it also means that they have a chance at a championship, winning a championship. Right? So if you can understand that, if everyone understands that, but they don't understand, putting games everywhere might hurt the brand itself, it's because of social media. It's because of the Xbox YouTube thing. It's because of ad revenue. It's because of access. That's all it is. The reality is that all these things that people are saying don't work, won't work, isn't the future, is the future, are working, still work. And I just can't understand how this game, being on a PlayStation, is going to help Microsoft at all. And the only reason it's here, again, one of the only reasons it's here, is because games and Game Pass subscribers are not enough to offset the cost of the games. If it was, these games would never be on a PlayStation. Indiana Jones would never be on a PlayStation. That's the kind of game that sells not only a piece of hardware, but if you're interested in a subscription service, why won't you pump that one as exclusive? It just doesn't make any sense. You think people are just going to say, hell, I don't want to play Indiana Jones on my PlayStation 5 Pro. I'd rather just pay $20, play the version of it, because I don't have to spend $70 for it? I don't know, man. I don't know. I just really don't know what the hell's happening at Microsoft. I really don't. I don't know why it's so difficult to just say, hey, we're interested in making hardware, and we want people to buy it. And we're going to take advantage of our hardware. Well, machine. Nobody's taking advantage of it, so we might as well. But here's an exclusive that blows the doors off of everybody. And yet, it's just not happening. Now, it's not Microsoft's fault. Nobody purchased the Xbox. Everyone went PlayStation. The de facto machine for third-party, one-off sales, a la carte sales, is the PlayStation 5. So they have to do something, but I just don't think this is it. Meanwhile, while I'm talking, I have no idea where the fuck to go. Like, where am I going? Am I going up? Find the cart controller. I haven't played this game in such a long time. It's crazy. And I like that, because I forget everything. But that's it. That's my little rant. I don't get it. I definitely need that. I think I wasted too much time talking and shooting. I did. Fuck that. Yeah, I mean, so, look, I'm going to continue to buy the console that the manufacturer makes attractive. I'm going to continue to buy the console and the teams that create first-party games that are great, Well, I'm not sure how old you are. If you're under 25, then you probably grew up at an age where you don't own anything and you think that's great. Or you think, being, under the thumb of a multi-million trillion dollar corporation that's convinced you that, no, you really have choice, even though you don't. You're strange. It's strange to me. I mean, if people are fans of video games and the video game industry, there's no way in the world that you can spend a lot of your money in Microsoft's ecosystem, because it just might not be there. Or worse, the games that you have right now might not even be able to be played. Meanwhile, I have no idea. Am I supposed to walk on the ground? Okay. I'm not sure how it could be good for them if no one's buying their products. Like, no one buys Xboxes. I mean, how's that going to change just because a new generation begins and Steam is on the Xbox? Like, why? Why would I want to purchase a console and then give money to someone else? Someone else's store? Like, how does that help Xbox? This is all being done because they failed in this space. Like, I don't know why people are so upset by it. It's okay. You can like Xbox and admit that they failed miserably in the console space. They just haven't. You don't have to just change who you are and want the console space to go away. They're kind of like, you don't understand what an exclusive is all of a sudden. Because Microsoft said, hey, they don't matter.
Oh, yeah.
I really got to figure out how to get up that fucking... I got to figure out how to walk across that. Like, I'm just as invested in the Xbox ecosystem. I have tons, like thousands of games I purchased over the years that are in my digital queue, right? That show up. That's great. I love that. Like, the digital purchases I made on the Xbox 360 are just in my queue and they play. And sometimes they have, auto HDR, better frame rates and stuff like that, all for free. And that's great. But at some point, like, if you're not selling the things that you're creating, then something has to change, right? We're talking about, like, Xbox not even being about custom hardware. So basically, anybody can just take off-the-shelf parts and throw an Xbox sticker on it, and somehow that's an Xbox. Like, if that's the mental gymnastics that people have to do in order to, like, feel good about what Xbox is doing, then so be it. I'm not going to do that because I'm a console video game. I'm not just going to change. Like, if Nintendo decided tomorrow that, hey, we're not going to be Nintendo anymore. We're just going to be this other version of a company, then I wouldn't support it. And if 40 years from now, there's no more consoles, which is what everybody's talking about, then, I won't be alive. So, why would I care about that? I can't believe there hasn't been a really great third-person cover shooter like Gears. I can't even think of one that's better. I think there will be hardware for PlayStation. I think obviously Nintendo doesn't look at hardware in the video game industry the same way that Sony and Microsoft do. So they're always going to create, quote-unquote, and this isn't a dig at Nintendo, I say toy, because that's how they look at things. They're creating toys for you to play with, and then they feed themselves, right? They feed their own company with their own IP. Like Disney, like Marvel, like Universal Studios, right? Like, why isn't Mickey Mouse in Universal Studios pimping himself out for Disney? Right? Because that's their brand. That's the type of brand Disney is. That's the type of brand Universal is. That's the type of brand, Netflix and Hulu are. Right? Why isn't Alien Earth on Netflix? Now, Netflix and Hulu can team up and you can pay one low price. But the content that they create is exclusive to their service. Why is it exclusive to their service? Because this idea that, exclusives don't drive people to adopt a product is insane to me. It's literally insanity. In our lives every day, we make judgments based on what we're going to get that might be better versus what we have. Right? You buy a house, you buy a car for that exclusive feature, right? For the thing that you want that the other cars don't have. The sports analogy that I use, right? I mean, if you're painting yourself to go to a football game, to stand there and scream because, you know, your team is winning a championship because they spent hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars to sign players to play exclusively for your team. Just somehow don't understand how, you know, communicate with people, which is why I don't podcast much, right? Because it's either 100% Xbox is correct in a podcast, or it's 100% Xbox is wrong in a podcast. And that's basically it. 3 hours of that is just not for me, right? It's just not for me. Oh, I want that right there. Oh, it needs that. I just want to get to the other side. I forgot how hard it was. Ah, you son of a fuck! I can't believe I have this much trouble getting across. Am I going the right way? I'm going the wrong way again. Holy shit. Am I going the right way or the wrong way? What the fuck is happening? No, it can't be down here. It has to be up here because I want them to cross and fall. Damn. I went the wrong way again, didn't I? Yes, I did. Anyway, that's just how I see it. Like, I don't, you know, I got 150,000 gamer score or something like that. Like that's not something that sways me. Achievements, trophies, they mean nothing. Why would I purchase a product for everything other than the stuff that I'm purchasing the product for? Great games that take advantage of it. I mean, go to work tomorrow, right? If you work at a company, go to work and tell your boss, you know, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you're going to work for him or her. And then Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, you're going to work for the competitor across the street because it's just better for everyone, right? It's just better for everyone. It's better for these companies if we share our bright people, our talent. If we share our talent, it's just better. Go do that, right? And then tell me how fast you're in the unemployment. It's like we understand exclusivity in every aspect of our lives, except for when the multi-trillion-dollar companies that we worship tell us that they're not good because we can't make any that sell well, and we want to dominate an industry. So let's just tell everybody else they can't have what they've had in the past. It's almost sick, and I'm not here for it. Make some great games, keep some great games in your ecosystem, on your service. Again, you know, if they're pimping out Hulu with Alien Earth, which is great, by the way, right? Then why can't we pimp out Xbox hardware with Gears of War, Halo, Forza, and maybe some other IP? By the way, are they making anything new that's going to be as impactful as these games? Like, I played South of Midnight. I liked South of Midnight, but that came and went really, really quickly. Kind of like Death Stranding 2, right? I'm not even talking about Death Stranding 2 sales because I just don't think it sold well. I think people, bought the first game because it was Kojima, but now that they know it's a known quantity what Death Stranding is, so I don't think a lot of people like that game. I could be wrong. I have Death Stranding 2. I just don't want to finish it. When you say, but think about what you're saying. You're literally saying, I don't think exclusives will work for PlayStation. And they're working for PlayStation right now. You don't think Intergalactic is going to sell PlayStations? Or Ghost of Yotai? You don't think that's going to work? You don't think something like... If exclusives don't matter, right? Take the biggest third-party game in the world, the next Grand Theft Auto. That's coming out exclusively on consoles first. Why would Rockstar do that? This idea that the console space is just, can't sustain itself anymore is insane, and it's born out of corporations like Microsoft telling fan bases that, hey, remember the Xbox, the word box? Remember how you love the hardware? You really don't like the hardware. You just like the service. I'm not lining up to change the kind of gamer that I am because $1 trillion company told me to do that because they failed. And again, if PlayStation puts first-party games on an Xbox console, like a Horizon, I'm not talking about a games as a service like Helldivers, then I was wrong. And you might as well just buy an Xbox, because Sony will have sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? They will have confirmed or affirmed. They would have affirmed Microsoft's strategy if they do that. But they're not. Because their brand is different. These games are so important to the health of PlayStation. They're so important to keeping the lights on.
No!
They're so important to keeping PlayStation as a machine that drives sales for other people. PC is not console. Anything happening on a PC has nothing to do with the console. I know people don't like hearing that, but it just doesn't. Microsoft's confirmed that themselves internally. They look at crossover and they look at who's playing what. I don't know where this comes from. Like, the console space can exist, right? It can exist. You can have consoles and PCs for people. You can have games that go to console and go to PC. And you can have exclusives on PC and on console. It's okay. It doesn't have to all go away because someone's favorite company failed miserably at it. It's almost like people want like a socialist box, right? No choice. No, nothing. Everybody gets the same thing, but you can make your box red with a sticker if you want. And I can make my box blue with a sticker if I want. Ooh, look at all that choice. Gaming has been moving more to PC since the 1970s. I've been hearing since the Sega Master System that consoles were dying because everyone's going to PC. There are more things to distract people now from consoles than there's ever been. And consoles like the PlayStation 5 and the Nintendo Switch are selling better than they ever have in any generation. If you like PC, play on PC. The idea that somebody likes PC, therefore, every other choice in an industry has to go away so that your choice can be affirmed to you, means that you really don't like that thing to begin with. If you need to be convinced so drastically. I think PlayStation is going to be absolutely console-based business for a long, long, long time. To the point where it doesn't even matter to get rid of it now or to worry about it now. I'm not sure what the next Xbox is. I'm not sure who buys the next Xbox beyond the people who have created personas for themselves on YouTube that just can't back away from it. Other than that, I'm not sure.
Nice.
And it's so obvious to me. Like, I just, it's frustrating because people are so stuck in this console war stuff to the point where they're just like, the pie chart. Okay. Listen, if I said to you, there's this pie chart, and it's showing that every single person on Earth is going to throw away their televisions, in 25 years. Would you worry about that now? Would you get rid of your TV today? If I told you in the 1800s to get rid of your horse, forget about using your horse for transportation, forget about using your horse for plowing the field, forget about using your horse for everything in everyday life like everyone else does in the 1800s, because in about 100 or so years, there are going to be these things called automobiles. Would you get rid of your car?
Got it.
Would you even worry about it? Would you tell a company that's selling horses very successfully that, you shouldn't do that? Would you tell a fan base who loves horses, they don't know what they're talking about because in the future, there's cars everywhere.
Good to go.
It's just baffling to me. And if Microsoft tomorrow said we made a mistake, our games are exclusive to Game Pass. Tomorrow, people would be like, oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Oh, yeah, that's great. They made the right choice. They tried it. It didn't work. All of a sudden, it would be, something to differentiate is needed in everything that we do. But again, right? Unlike, this nonsensical YouTube world that we live in, I could be wrong. I just don't think I am. And if I am, I don't think it matters for the next 20 years. And I absolutely know it doesn't matter when it comes to Nintendo. So again, I think Microsoft should get out of Hardware. I really do. It's an albatross around their neck. It's confusing. When you say the word Xbox, it doesn't even mean that boxing. Like, the word box is in the title, and yet you don't need it. They don't care about it. They might not even make them anymore. It might be third-party companies just slapping stickers on it. It just doesn't make sense. Most of PlayStation's revenue doesn't come from the PlayStation Network. It comes from 10 games. There are 10 games on PlayStation that make 50% of PlayStation's revenue. The rest are exclusives. And by the way, that's another problem. This one-size-fits-all cost for everybody. What's happening in the industry affects all three, but not in the same way. They're structured differently. How much does it cost? Take, for instance, Ask AI. Why would I ask AI? AI is created by companies, correct? Do you think AI is telling you the truth, or is it telling you what the company wants you to do? Like, listen what I'm saying. If you like the Xbox, if you like the direction, if you like not having anything highlight why the Xbox is a strong system, if you like, employees not working for the company and working for everybody else, like I said, go to work. Tell your boss you like working there, but you don't think it's fair that you have to work there exclusively. It would be much better for the industry that you're in if they shared their talent. It would be much better for a football team if they took, the 4 or so star players that they spend hundreds of millions of dollars to have play for their team exclusively. It would be better for everyone in football if, once every few months they played for different teams and gave those teams a chance to be successful at a championship, wouldn't it? But why don't they? And if you can understand that, then all of this is just my favorite company and my favorite product has changed because it's not successful. And rather than be who I was and just spend my money somewhere else, I'm jumping through hoops to pretend this is what I want, or to pretend that it's normal. And like I said, you can do that. People can do that. I'm not doing it. I was an Xbox console fan. I was there's so many things that are coming to mind. Think about this, right? They were making the Xbox 360. Cliffy B went to them and said 256
baby.
megabytes of RAM isn't enough for
You guys
Gears of
look
War
good.
to look the way that we needed to
smells good
look.
too.
To hit as hard as it hits, as it will hit. To be the exclusive that drives
Whatever you say,
Xbox
man.
360 sales.
What about
So what
the
did
resonator,
Microsoft?
Cole?
They,
Still in one
they actually
piece?
increased the
You know
RAM
what?
in the system
Train.
at the hardware level. Somehow they knew back then how important it was. But the problem is, nobody really purchased Xbox in any meaningful way. And nobody really purchased the games in any meaningful way after the Xbox One. I mean, you think back to, the Xbox 360 generation, Aaron Greenberg couldn't shut up. It was sales, it was numbers, it was,
saw
Halo
something.
just outsold every PlayStation exclusive. I remember that tweet, right? All of that was great. Why do you think so many people got a red ring of death and still went out and purchased another Xbox 360? Because of the great games that were on it. Why do you think people aren't purchasing the cheapest console on the market and quote-unquote the most powerful console? How is it possible that everything they're doing is correct and they had a worse generation than the Xbox One generation, which was their worst? It's because what they want to happen isn't what most consumers want. It's what Microsoft wants, but it's not what most consumers want. People that do want it, enjoy it. But just don't try and convince them that the entire industry has to go away so that what your favorite company did is somehow validated, makes you feel good. If you need that to happen, then you're not really happy at all with what's going on. Or else you wouldn't even be thinking about that. And the fact that people consistently think about the biggest Xbox YouTubers keep talking about it is because they know it's incredibly damaging to a brand, which is why they want it to happen to other brands. It's nothing to do with gaming, nothing to do with being genuine. It's all about ad revenue, being a celebrity on YouTube, and having Microsoft or Sony or somebody else fly you out to events.
Lock and load.
This is very simple. Console space isn't the PC space. Consoles need exclusives. You don't have to have an exclusives over the course of, a generation. If you've got 3 first-party studios, they should at least be making 2 first-party games in the lifespan of a system, right? This is why I think Sony is in a bit of a pickle, because they've doubled down on this hugely expensive AAA single-player thing, which is great. Right? It's great, but you can't take 7.5 years to release one first-party game. Naughty Dog and Sucker Punch have not released a PS5 game yet this entire generation. I'm not talking about
Open that door.
Ghost of Tsushima remakes on PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 5 Pro. I'm talking about they haven't done anything PS5 exclusive yet. They will when Galactic and Ghost or Yokai comes out. That's too long. That's just too long. And you can't recoup. Which is why they're putting games on PC as well. Which, again, doesn't affect PlayStation. It just doesn't. What do I want? Do I want...
Oh,
I'm going to take
shit.
the balloon shot. Oh, I can't with that. I have to get rid of... Let's get rid of it.
Good to go.
So that's just how I feel about it all, And I'm not going to spend money on a system that doesn't want to give me anything.
Man, you shitheads need to get in your own cart. No way am I standing next to you.
Let's just get this over with.
Man, I forget this game so much. I think I have to turn the carts on. Yeah.
Control. This is Delta. We're at the cart control room.
Copy that, Delta.
Everybody, grab some ammo.
I always know there's like, when you see these symbols, there's a collectible nearby, but I can never find a collectible. I don't know.
Let's do this thing. Whoa!
It's just insane to me that I'm playing this with a DualSense controller on PlayStation 5 Pro. It's just, there couldn't be anything more wrong than this happening. I mean, it's just nuts. Why isn't like Halo? How is Halo not an Xbox
Controller
exclusive?
headed into the
Jesus.
furnace. Divert the carts. Anya, we're moving into the fire. Reroute. Anywhere. Now.
My friend, I am incredibly old. I've been around for a long time playing games. I think, with all due respect, I'm not trying to make you feel good. I think you're a young guy who's way too caught up in social media, way too caught up in the console war nonsense. This is not good. No company on the planet creates hardware like a console and not sell software. Consoles lose money. You make it up by selling software. And Microsoft is going to allow people to purchase games from someone else's store, and that's going to help Xbox. This is them sunsetting the brand.
Come on,
This is,
baby. The train's at home on the rail.
this is called divesting. This is how you divest a brand. This is how you manage decline. This is how you manage a fan base into not completely and totally destroying you when you pull the plug. They're going to give you access to your games through some browser on the PC, and you're going to press a button and you'll be in Steam. If that's great, then, if that's great. Hey, Jimmy Harrison, what's going on, man? Yeah, you know what's funny? If you have a Pro, Jimmy, it's absolutely worth playing again because it's never looked this good. I mean, this looks like it could release today. And it feels like a PlayStation. Like the DualSense controller is absolutely a dream with gears. Yeah, I think you'd be surprised, man. That's if you're not averse to buying your video games. You know what I mean? You can rent it through Game Pass. I threw a 20 at Game Pass just to check out Gears, comparing it to the Pro version, and it is like a night and day difference, which is baffling. Right? Like, at least make the Xbox version the better version.
What the hell was that doing here?
Checking tickets?
Man, that guy took a ton of fucking... Like a bullet sponge. Hey, that's just my opinion. I'm not trying to like rain on anybody's parade. I can't see how people don't see it. You know what I mean? Yeah, Jim, the Pro version is really, really good. Like, this is the Pro version. Obviously, you can't
Control,
see
this is Delta.
much through
Do you
YouTube.
read?
But just
I copy.
everything.
You're almost there. The drilling platforms are straight ahead in the core room.
You guys hear that?
Yep.
There's a
Move
Digital
out.
Foundry video comparing all the versions of this game, and they show the Pro version. It's incredible. It really is. It looks phenomenal. Winter Soldier. I was just watching Thunderbolts. The Winter Soldier was in that, right? It wasn't bad. It was okay. I wasn't really a fan of the sort of emo Superman guy.
My mama could kill your weak ass.
Was that girl Black Widow's sister in that movie? I don't know. It was entertaining. It wasn't terrible. Yeah.
Back in your hole.
You okay?
Yeah, her sister. Yeah. Xbox gave those that had Gears Ultimate a free copy. Right. It's an upgrade. So if you have Ultimate, you can just get this copy. But again,
Oh, yeah.
the word free, right? Game Pass is free. You get a free copy of Gears Ultimate, and that's fantastic, right? But it's not the best version of this game. And the idea that it's a flex, that paying for the best of something is somehow stupid, right? Or, oh, I got it through Game Pass. You paid $40. Yeah, welcome to the world, right? Have you gone out to eat? Have you gone to a restaurant that's kind of expensive? You're paying for the quality of the preparation. You're paying for the quality of the food. You're paying for the ambiance. You're paying for the service. So yeah, you're going to pay for the best version of games. Or you can choose to forgo wanting the best.
This is Delta.
Because you can pay $20.
Stand by, Delta. I'm raising the platforms for you.
You know, I'm not quite ready to do that. Same principle as the Xbox One X, right? Why did I buy an Xbox One X? Why did you buy an Xbox One X? Why did they talk about the Xbox One X? Why did the hardest of the hardcore Xbox talk about the Xbox One X as being the best place to play everyone's games? Because it was. And because that's a compelling argument. I don't know how to play any titles, but I mean, look, it sounds more like you're trying to transition yourself from console to PC because kind of shit the bed, which is fine. I will never touch a PC to play a video game. I will never, ever have a PC tower, boot it up, use Windows, worry about drive. I will never do any of that to play a video game. I will buy a console. When I buy a console, I expect the console maker and the first parties to create exclusive content that takes advantage of the hardware.
Down now. Once you're in the mine, you'll need to find the pumping station and plant that resonator. Get it done before dawn. You don't want to be there when the krill come back.
It's go time, baby.
Yeah, I guess so. About this, right? Think about the ROG. Like ROG is the first word. It's not Xbox. It's ROG Ally / Xbox handheld, right? ROG comes first because it's a PC handheld. But think about this for a second, right?
Damn.
The OS and the UI on the ROG Xbox Ally.
Everywhere.
That's coming to every ROG Xbox Ally a year after it launches with the quote-unquote Xbox ROG Ally, right? Why is it exclusive for a year if exclusives are banned? Why is the OS experience on the ROG Xbox Ally exclusive to that piece of hardware for a year? Why would Microsoft do that? Why? Why are they using an exclusive feature to try and push the sales of a piece of hardware? Why would they do that? Why would they use an exclusive? Everyone knows they're not good for the industry because they know. They just failed. And they have to pivot. And I would do the same thing. I would try and tell people it's not that big a deal. Of course you would. But what I wouldn't do is take, the 40 plus years that I've been playing video games on a console and just throw it away because Microsoft said exclusives don't matter. Yeah, the flagship ROG Ally. It's ROG Ally Xbox, right?
Okay. We can't take a chance with the rest.
It's not that I'm upset. I mean, it's video games. You know what I mean? Like, there's real life things to worry about. But what I don't get is, like, I was around podcasting before podcasts were like huge, right? I was on BGST, huge Xbox podcast, right? I was the more level-headed person on there. I liked my Xbox. But I don't like this direction. I think most people don't like this direction. I know for a fact some of the hardest of the hardcore Xbox YouTubers hate this direction, but can't say it because they've got some level of success, some level of monthly ad revenue, and some level of subscribers that want to be lied to consistently. Right? I mean, again, it's why I'm not asking people to like and subscribe. It's why I'm not on podcasts every week. It's why I'm not pushing my brand and selling t-shirts. Like, I don't care about this stuff to that point, but I care about great video games. And I don't think telling somebody who works for you, that you hired, that you like their creativity, you hired them because they're talented, but you don't want them to do anything for you at all. It just doesn't make sense to me because it doesn't work that way in the real world. It only works that way failed. A lot of this would go away if Microsoft would just get rid of the word Xbox. I mean, what is an Xbox if, let's say, Lenovo decides to just take some off-the-shelf parts, create something, and tell Microsoft they want to put an Xbox sticker
I don't know,
on
man.
and call it an Xbox.
Being underground like this
how is
gives
that
me the
exciting?
creeps.
We're just gonna go in, we're gonna plant the resonator. Easy.
Say so.
I think Xbox people are just dedicated. Not much more. Exactly. Thank you, Winter Soldier. That's all. I like Xbox. I'm an Xbox console fan, right? I'm not buying into this. To me, an Xbox that doesn't have an exclusive, that isn't a box. To me, a company making something that's telling me I don't need it, I'm not going to need it. I don't think Microsoft's going to have hard for after this generation. I really don't. To be honest with you, I know they said that there's another Xbox console coming, but I don't know. Right? I think internally they're still sort of... They've got enough money to where they can put things in motion and then, just say, yep, go ahead, or stop. I don't think they're worried about that. But who's buying another Xbox console? And why would Steam makes me buy a console?
You okay?
Right? I mean, Steam is on PCs right now.
We ran
Windows
into a
Store is on
problem.
PCs.
You and
Epic
Cole,
Store
we're
is on
gonna have to find
PCs.
an alternate route.
Roger that.
Why are PlayStation still selling?
you
Why are
there.
Nintendo Switch is still selling without those stores? I mean, essentially, Microsoft's saying you're going to buy an Xbox, but it's really just going to be a PC. And we're just going to, make a PC. They're going to do like what Valve tried to do. Like, we're going to call it a Steam box, but it's just a PC with Windows on it, which I don't think anybody needs, to be honest with you.
Coming fry!
Lock and load.
But again, look, this is all... There are a million different ways to look at this. They all have some value to them. I mean, you can make the argument for any of these opinions. By the way, this is my opinion. So it's not gospel. Just because I'm saying it doesn't mean like you have to go crazy. But it's just my opinion. That's all. Like, yeah, if it works for you, it works for you. Like I said, you're probably more PC-centric than console-centric. I could see people, like, kind of just being like, yeah, my PC could be called an Xbox, I guess. Like, to me, a PC tower with a mouse and a keyboard attached to it is not an Xbox. It's a PC. A better example of this is, man, there's so many examples of this. This is why being a bit older helps. The original Xbox, right? They stripped out most of the Windows features of the original Xbox, which is why Bill Gates went crazy. But why did they do that? Because it's a console, right? It's why the original Xbox. People like Ed Free, Seamus Blackley, Kevin Bacchus, these guys understood the space that they were in. They got it.
Nice.
How did the Xbox 360 take half of the market share from the PlayStation 3? Coming off of the most successful console of all time, the PlayStation 2. Microsoft comes in with their second console, takes half of the market share. Was that a bad strategy? Because it wasn't there was no Game Pass? Was that a bad strategy because they had exclusive games to the Xbox 360? Of course it wasn't. Somehow it's a bad strategy now because, quote-unquote, times are changing, but they're really not because you have examples that are just working with other platforms. Winter Soldier, Shadows in the Crew. Yeah, Ed Free, if you read Ed Free's book, when he walked away from Microsoft and Xbox, when they... I think, and I'm paraphrasing here, I think he said that he wanted them to build up a portfolio of first-party games the way that Nintendo cultivate them. And Microsoft just didn't want to do that. They wanted, to dominate the industry with, by using money and spending the way that they did with, the browser browser market. Like when Windows launched, they included, I think it was Internet Explorer, with every copy of Windows. It was a violation. They were taken to court and sued for it, for unfair practices and unfair competition. And they just paid the fine and said, "Oops, we're sorry." But by that point, Firefox, remember those browsers, all those browsers, they were dead because Microsoft squeezed them out by doing that. And I think that they thought that they could do that with gaming. I really did, and it just hasn't worked. Like I said, I'm a really big fan of the original Xbox. The 360 was the de facto platform of that generation. It just was. I mean, PlayStation obviously created great games to sort of win back. Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, East and West are different when it comes to that stuff, right? I mean, you look at like Nintendo. Part of the reason that they created the Nintendo Museum, Kyoto, was for shareholders. So that shareholders could see the history of the company, where they came from, how they got to where they are, and why they're continuing to do what they do. Just sort of, tell the shareholders, it's not about constant growth all the time. It's about the health of a brand over time.
Baird,
that doesn't mean Microsoft has to be...
en route. Who knows where the hell we are?
We're off our route, too.
Every time the sound comes through the speaker, I stop talking.
If you get to
he
the
has his
pumping
fingers up to his
station
ear.
first, you'll guide us in.
The sound's coming through the speaker.
Deal.
It doesn't mean that every brand has to be the same, right? Microsoft could be a brand like they are. Maybe they wanted to change. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they never wanted to be a console. Maybe they never wanted to be a hardware company because they aren't a hardware company. That doesn't mean that everybody else has to just go away or change because Microsoft said so. Like I said, if you are upset that Sony is successful in what they're doing, or that Nintendo is successful in what they're doing, then you're not happy with what Microsoft is doing. Because if you were, it wouldn't matter. And by the way, you should be championing choice and difference with these brands. Man, this is beautiful. Like, why in the world would everybody want one box that has everybody's games on it? Why would you buy a PlayStation? What would be the reason to buy a PlayStation or an Xbox? Like, why? Because you have your achievements? Because you have your trophies? Because you would want all of that versus something like an Intergalactic being worked on? Pushing the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 5 Pro, utilizing the hardware for consumers who purchased it, that isn't important? I don't know. I'm just not there. It's just my opinion. Like I said, if Sony decides to put their games, like their single-player games, right? God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of Yotai, whatever else, Spider-Man 2, anything like that. If anything like that shows up on an Xbox, then I would say, okay, Microsoft's strategy has to be pushing Sony to do the same thing because they can't recoup the costs of spending these hundreds of millions of dollars on these first-party games that take 7 fucking years to come out. Which is why I think Sony isn't doing themselves any favors.
I hope we both do.
They need to adjust. They need to cut the cost of these games. Have them come out sooner rather than later. You can't have Naughty Dog and Sucker Punch make one game a generation. And that's essentially what they're going to do this generation. Ghost of Yotai is Sucker Punch's first PS5 only game. Born on the PS5. Intergalactic is Naughty Dog's first PS5 game. Not Last of Us 600. Not Last of Us HD. So, when you go from first-party studios that make 3 or 4 games a generation, like they did with Uncharted 1, 2, 3, or Jack and Daxter 1, 2, 3, Jack X Combat Racing, to like one $400 million game that takes 7 years, of course you're putting yourself in a bad position.
Come on!
I didn't see that. The chat comes up really quick and then goes away really quick. So I didn't see what you put. I think I saw something like, "Are you kidding?" If I did, then if I'm wrong about that, then just let me know again. I didn't see it. But like I said, man, like, look, you can like everything Xbox is doing. If Xbox tomorrow tells you that not only are exclusives bad for the industry, but so is breathing, and you hold your breath every day, then have at it. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm one person with an opinion. This game is absolutely beautiful. But again, I cannot believe that it doesn't look like this on the Series X. It's so baffling. I get, you see how littered the collaborative with ads. Yeah, there's, I think there's Porsche, right? But again, look at Death Stranding, right? All those songs, all throughout Death Stranding. You gotta pay money for that stuff, right?
Nice.
But I do think maybe you're confusing ads with, like, if they were just ads and they had no meaning whatsoever in the game, then I get it. But it's set in an alternate reality 80s. So all of those 80s brands and songs and stuff like that serve the purpose of putting you in that frame of mind, in that world that you're in. It's not like, you're playing Intergalactic and there's going to be like a Crest toothpaste commercial. Because that wouldn't make sense. But if you're flying a ship in the intergalactic world set in the 80s made by Porsche, then it makes sense to see a Porsche. You know what I mean? Or if you're turning the dial on the car or ship that you're in the alternate reality 80s, and 80s pop comes on, that makes sense. My problem with Intergalactic has nothing to do with the ad. It has to do with, I'm not a big fan of Neil Druckmann. I'm not a big fan of Neil Druckmann and his I'm running for office. Let me tell you how you're supposed to think, feel, act, and vote mentality. That's what I'm not a fan. But, other than that, I don't know what the ads are.
How big
I don't think the
is
ads
this
are there
goddamn
to
mine?
pay for the game. I think they're there because they make sense in
Baird,
the
you
world.
guys still out there?
Yeah, fortunately.
And I'm sure Porsche's happy, to see a future reality Porsche in an alternate reality 80s game. So I'm sure they gave them some cash to put the brand up there. Again, a brand. Exclusive brand. The Latinx market is pretty boring, but I guess we're at the stage where consoles. I guess I just don't understand. I'm not really bothered by the ads, but I bet. Yeah, the only people are going to be bothered are Xbox fanatics by the preachy nature of what Neil Druckmann does. I'm not interested in being told how to think or how I should feel, about real life issues. I want to escape into a cool world and do cool things. Hopefully Intergalactic is that, but I'm not sure. So that's my dilemma with Intergalactic, not the ads. But I'll tell you what Xbox does better than anybody. Back to patent. Like, there's not even a competition. It's insane to me. Like yesterday I was playing the original Splinter Cell and Pandora Tomorrow, which I still have in my download queue. So I just, downloaded them and played them. They got auto HDR, frame rate boost for free. The game still looks phenomenal. And by the way, I can't play these games on a PlayStation. The entire PlayStation 3 generation. All those games, all the Splinter Cell games, I can't play them unless I stream them through the cloud, which I don't want to do, which most people don't want to do, based on sales of devices.
There's no going back.
So
We've got a corpse. Damn, that explains the earthquake. Okay, we're on our way.
Back and Pat is huge. At this point, I just used to go. Actually, I thought my games carried forward. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know what Xbox is. Like when people say, like, you're sticking with Xbox. What is that? Like, what is an Xbox? If everything is an Xbox, nothing can be an Xbox. There has to be, you have to have some sense of individuality, right? Like, we're all human beings, but we're all very, very different. Should we get rid of individualism? It just doesn't make any sense. Every aspect of everyone's life, we understand. We make choices based on exclusive features. I want that car because. I want to go to that restaurant because. I want to go to that resort because. I like this team and the draft and the players that they picked because. But when our favorite company fails and tells us everything that we've loved and supported was really fake and we just didn't know it. But now it's all about not having exclusives. It's all about not even selling hardware. We're going to make it, but we don't care if you buy it. What is a PlayStation? I get Nintendo. PlayStation, what do you mean, what is a PlayStation? PlayStation has managed to create, well, first off, the de facto choice for everyone in the console space for a la carte sales is PlayStation. Right? Everyone chooses PlayStation for the most part to play their third-party games. Third parties know that, which is why you still see third-party exclusives, because it just makes sense. So why you see third parties skipping Xbox? Because it doesn't make sense. So PlayStation put themselves in a position to be the de facto place where people play third-party games on console, and the boutique publisher of the best single-player, story-driven games, the best graphically, the best technology. Now, I don't think that can last if they keep spending crazy amounts of money and they take 7.5 years to release one first-party game. Like Intergalactic is going to be a PlayStation 6 launch title and a tail end of the PlayStation 5 generation title. I think that's bad. I think Naughty Dog should at least release 2 games a generation. You think that it's PC? You think a PlayStation is PC? I don't understand this. A PlayStation is a PlayStation. So it's a console, and a PC is a controller.
There's gotta be a way to stop it!
I forget how to kill this guy. I seriously forget how to kill this guy. I think there's something I need to shoot balls on him or something. And it's been forever. PC is the de facto place for PlayStation. Yeah, I think it's the text. It's not coming through. Maybe I'm reading it right. Useless to it. I think he needs to open his mouth. Is that it? That's a bitch. I'm gonna die here. Holy shit, I forgot how to kill this guy. And I can't run past him, right? Yeah. Soft belly. Son of a bitch. There we go. The belly, and then the belly, and then the face.
Bitches!
Oh, these fucking bitches.
I think we're just pissing it off!
Come on, show me the belly.
Bitches!
So that's my spiel about Xbox. Again, everything I said could be wrong. I just don't think so. They have the worst leadership. There's no doubt. Like I said, like, you know, I can tell a funny story. I used to play. What was the game with the cars? Everybody called it soccer cars. What was that called? When that came out, it was kind of like everybody was playing it.
Gotta find a way to kill it.
Yeah, I mean, like they have to pivot. Obviously, they have to. They want to get paid. What was that game? Soccer. It was called Soccer Cars, right? Everybody called it Soccer Cars, but it was.
That even hurt it?
Anyway, I was playing that game back in the day. I was playing it with some guys who had an Xbox podcast. We were playing with Phil Spencer. Like, as soon as Phil Spencer came in to the group, it was like, you know, before he came into the group, everybody, Rocket League, yes, Rocket League. That's it. Before he even came into the party chat, right, there was this, like, words you can't say, he doesn't like people cursing, he doesn't like this, he doesn't like, it's just like who the hell is this guy? Like, why do we have to, like, be on our best behavior in the presence of Phil Spencer? It was just weird. I don't think these guys really ever understood the game in general. But it doesn't mean they can't be successful. Look at, again, I keep going back to the 360. They had some great people who, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. This looks like something I'm supposed to do. It's been so long since I played this game, I completely forget how to kill this thing. Yeah, it's strange, man. Like the whole Phil Spencer Love Fest thing, it's just weird. Like, I know who Jerry Lawson is. I know who Ralph Baer is. Like, those are people that, if you're interested in video games, you should know who they are. Like, a corporate executive isn't somebody who, you want to buddy with. It's weird. It's like Herman Hulst. Who the hell wants to hang out with Herman Hulst? Why is this thing not dying? What am I doing that's wrong? I think I'm supposed to do something with these lashes, right? There it is. Duh. It's been a long time since I played this game. Again, looks fantastic on the Pro. And I own it. I own this game. I'm not renting it. I can't believe Marcus Phoenix is on a PlayStation. This is just wrong on so many levels. Look at this. Fantastic. Well, like I said, right? All of this goes away if Sony puts one AAA single-player game
I can't believe we missed this.
on Xbox. I don't care if it's an old one. It's still a Sony property.
Get executed.
And the time?
Free copies since you own Ultimate. Yeah. I think
let's move.
It's in Game Pass, right? So if you don't own Ultimate, you can just kind of rent it. I'm just shocked. Like for me, like if they did all this and all these games aren't going to be exclusive anymore, you know, there's no real identity for the brand anymore. At least make these games the best version of themselves on your platform. Like, if they did that, it would be a little better. But they're not even doing that.
Regroup.
I'm kind of lost right now. Let me get some. I'm already topped off. I made a friggin' huge cup of coffee, and I haven't even taken a sip of it yet. It's been like an hour. I mean, they don't have to do that just because they don't have a live service game. Microsoft pretty much handed them Call of Duty. I mean, think about this, right? There's going to be a bundle of Call of Duty with a custom PlayStation 5, but not for Xbox. Like, isn't that crazy? It's just baffling to me. Like, why would you... Yeah. The PC isn't Xbox's platform. PC is not Xbox. It's not. Just because Windows is on PC doesn't mean it's helping Xbox. For instance, if PC is Microsoft's, why would they even be toying with the idea of allowing someone else's store on their hardware? Why would you give people a choice to not spend money in your store, but spend it in someone else's? It's just baffling. Yeah. And by the way, isn't a Macintosh a PC? Does Microsoft own that? People who use Linux, Microsoft benefiting from that? Hell, SteamOS is now going to be front-loaded on devices where you don't even need Windows anymore.
Look at
Is that a PC? Yeah.
juice.
Is it Microsoft?
Hey,
No.
How much do you think all that emulsion's worth? I don't think I can count that high.
But look at it this way. They've got enough money, pretty much, to do anything for as long as they want. Doesn't mean that they won't pull the plug. They did it with Zune. They did it with Windows Phone. Look how much money they spent with Windows Phone. Remember, I think it was prominent Xbox journalist who said if they ditched Windows Phone, he would eat his hat. I haven't seen a hat being eaten yet. So, they don't have any problem pulling the plug when things are.
There it is.
I think all of this
Here's a plan.
is a way of them pulling the plug.
We're going
without
straight in.
pissing
Cole,
people off.
Baird, you two flank
I mean,
right.
people are going to be
provide
pissed, but
support.
this is the
Above
easiest way to
all,
do it.
protect that resonator. You got it?
Got it. Got it.
And look, part of me wants to be wrong. I want like the next Xbox to be incredible. I would love it if the next Xbox came out. You really think if the next Xbox came out and it sold like 10 million
What the hell is that
systems,
sound?
It's just the wind.
let's say like in the first few months, it was a huge
When's the last time the wind
success.
said hostiles
Do you
to
think that they would still have these games everywhere? You really think that would happen?
Those aren't drones.
If they were making money on hardware
shit.
and they were
Looks like
making
they
money on Game
upgraded.
Pass, they would have none of these games.
You think they know what we're doing?
Well, we're not here to
They're
sell
there
cookies,
because they're not.
so they know something's up. Let's
And
clear that stage.
That simple fact is something that I worry about when it comes to spending money in the Xbox ecosystem. I haven't purchased anything in a while. Because to me, giving me access to my games isn't saying, well, you can play them through the cloud. And by the way, here's Steam. I want my games natively on my system. Because Microsoft doubled down on it, where PlayStation didn't, right? Again, PlayStation 3 generation is gone. See, the problem with that, though, is if Xbox and Windows integrate their stores into one platform, why in the hell would then they give you the option to use someone else's store? Why would a third party make an Xbox version of a game when they could just make a Steam version of a game? I think that's what's going to happen, Victor. I think that, I don't even know anybody that buys Surfaces, but they still make them. I think that's what's going to happen to Xbox. I mean, there's a rumor that you're not even going to be able to buy Xboxes in like a traditional video game store. Like it's going to be some sort of online purchase it through them, or like Surfaces they pull from certain stores. I just don't know. I think, honestly, they just went a little bit too far. They need to claw back a little bit. They did that when they had these tiers, like the tier version of Game Pass where you didn't get day one games. That was their attempt trying to get people to start buying games. Why would a PC person buy an Xbox console because Steam is on it? Right? I mean, these people are spending $3,000-$4,000 on one graphic. Third parties are not going to make Xbox-specific versions of a game when they can just make the Steam version of a game, which is what they're already working on, and just drop it in there and say, hey, just go to Steam on your Xbox, play it there. But again, I keep saying this because I really don't want to make people angry or upset because, it's video games. Like, I just ran into that dude's, I could be wrong. I could be wrong about all of them. It just doesn't feel like I am. But again, if I am, then I'd be happy to have a new Xbox that actually felt like it was needed. It was meaningful.
I'll take those.
The Steam Deck isn't a huge thing, right? That's how all this stuff really, I always get a little chuckle out of it, right? Remember before the Switch 2 came out, it was like, I think you've seen the Xbox now, you can see it. The ROG Ally isn't an Xbox. I refuse that notion that it's an Xbox because they put a sticker on it.
You think? I hadn't noticed.
I'm not a PC guy, right? I mean, if I was a PC guy, I wouldn't even pretend that Microsoft is PC. There's an infinite number of permutations for a PC. There's infinite numbers of operating systems you could use. Yes, Windows is the dominant one. That's because there isn't any option. Why do you think the company that's so pro-consumer made it so that there's no option for any other OS but Windows? You think that happened by accident, or do you think that was a plan? Of course it was a plan. That's why I don't jump up and down when I hear about pro-consumer and all this choice and all this stuff. You can't tell me you're pro-consumer. You can't tell me that you're about choice when, in order to do what I need to do, I need to walk through your door, and it's all Windows. Once I walk through your door, then anything else is possible. You say, oh, that's great, that's consumer, that's pro-choice, but I still had to go through your door on Windows, which is the advantage for you, which is why they're pushing all of this. Oh, it's not really a console, it's a PC. And I'm just not on board with it. And if it turns out I'm wrong, then, I've got money, I could just buy another Xbox and start, reinvesting there with games. But I just don't feel like it's a smart move right now to do that with the Xbox console, whatever that is. If you love PC gaming and you want to call every PC an Xbox, go right ahead. They do own Windows, and it is incumbent on them to fix it. But that doesn't mean they can fix it. That doesn't mean that they can stop the rise of somebody else's operating system. So, for instance, if Steam becomes the de facto choice on these devices, these PC devices, and then Valve decides that Steam should be its own operating system on these devices, much like Windows, and then Steam allows you to do other things like Windows does, then I think that update so and then if Steam becomes the de facto choice for people, then it doesn't matter what they do. It matters what people do, right? If people buy something in large numbers, it doesn't matter what Microsoft does. Look at how much money Microsoft has. They're the wealthiest company on the planet in the history of Earth, right? And people aren't choosing Xboxes. They're choosing PlayStations when you compare PlayStation to Xbox. So, here's something else. God, you got me going crazy, right? If they're so pro-consumer, you can't play multiplayer games yet on Steam. You don't think Steam and Valve, you don't think Valve behind the scenes is thinking about this? Thinking about if they can body Windows? Of course they're thinking about it. I just want to go back to my exclusive thing, right? Why is the OS, the Xbox UI OS that makes the ROG Ally so much like an Xbox? The UI that makes it... Sorry, you're not annoying me at all, man. I don't get annoyed at this stuff at all. I don't take any of this stuff personally. It's plastic. It's a toy. We're essentially arguing about Thundercats or G.I. Joe. So, not a big deal. Why would they make the UI exclusive to the ROG Ally? The Xbox ROG Ally? Because they want people to purchase them. So they understand the importance of exclusivity. They just won't understand it when it comes to games because their games didn't push the needle for them. And then when you add in everything in Game Pass day and date, the margins don't work, which is why they have to look to other platforms like consoles, like PlayStation and like Switch, not just putting their games on PC. That's why I don't think any of this works, because there's evidence internally at Microsoft that shows it doesn't work. Like, if it was somebody else saying it doesn't work, and then I would say, well, let's talk to Microsoft. But they're telegraphing. The only other reason I can think of having Steam access is they can use AI. Why can't they use AI to help devs cut the cost with Windows? Like, here's my point. If Windows is the advantage, like, what's the advantage of Xbox? Exclusives aren't an advantage anymore. Like, hiring all these teams to do essentially the work they've always done as third parties and having them remain third parties doesn't help Xbox. If Windows isn't helping Xbox, then what are they? Because PC isn't PlayStation. Nobody compares PC and says, oh, look at all the games on PC, it's much better than console. Like, console gamers buy consoles for the easy use and for, downloading or putting a disc in and having it just work. And then you've got the controller that adds to it. And then you've got the UI, which isn't Windows-based, that just works. So, PCs have always had more games. Even during the PS2 days, and the PS3 days, and the PS1 days. And yet, we got a PS1, and we got a PS2, and we got a PS3, and we got a PS4, and we got a PS5. During all of this time, PCs still had more games. And somehow, they kept making consoles. Why? Because there's an audience for it that doesn't want to play games on a PC. That's okay. Microsoft can't allow themselves to understand that, though. Because their games haven't sold. And their system hasn't sold the way it used to sell during the Xbox 360 days. Going from the Xbox 360 to the Xbox One, Microsoft and Xbox could be the de facto platform. You think about... Well, that's just it. It's not going to be Xbox. It's just going to be like Surface, right? It's going to be, here's a device that runs Windows, and if you press a button, it'll take you to this page where you can play your old Xbox games through the cloud, and that's it. If the Xbox app becomes the Windows game, I don't know what this is. Remember Universal Windows Platform? Remember, what was it? UWP was going to make all this better. It's just, it's one thing after the other, and it never materializes. Like, Microsoft just has this aversion to just making a console and making great games. I mean, when Phil Spencer said, if we just make great games, that would work. Well, it worked. It worked for Sony. PlayStation 3 was getting destroyed by the Xbox 360. And what did they do? They put their head down. And they created the Uncharted series and Last of Us. And that pushed the needle for people on console, because it's a different market. This is not that complicated. And the reason there's so much complication around it discussion, discourse, and fights and anger is because Microsoft told their biggest supporters to push this nonsense because they failed. So at the end of the day, we'll have to wait and see. I do think, the rumors of a PlayStation 6 essentially copying Nintendo again, which is something that Sony's notorious for, like a PS6 that has a dock and has Joy-Cons that attach to it. Like, come on, Sony, are we kidding? But you'll see people who are like, "Oh, it's so much better. It's not copying, it's innovating." But you know what, though? When it was time to build out a brand, a library, Sony did it, and Microsoft did it. Maybe hoping gamer in a digital platform sees it. Yeah, well, is Steam everywhere? And again, if they want to make Xbox a digital platform, right? What is Xbox? How do they make Xbox a digital platform if somebody else's store, which isn't Xbox, it has nothing to do with Xbox, is allowed to sell their games on Microsoft's platform? It just doesn't make any sense. You don't make money on hardware. You make money on your software sales. And essentially, you're going to give those sales away to somebody else's store as a pro-consumer move. It just, I don't know. I have no idea. It doesn't make any sense to me. I could be wrong. It could be fantastic. We'll have to wait and see. If the next Xbox comes out and it sells even worse, like right at launch, than this system did, PlayStation 6 comes out and just flies off the shelves, they're going to discontinue that Xbox. They're absolutely going to pull the Dreamcast. They have to. There's no other way for them. Why would you continue? Why would you go to work and tell somebody, I want you to spend hundreds of millions of dollars to make hardware? And traditionally, the way that you made money on that hardware by selling games through your store and getting all that royalty money, we're going to give that away to a competitor called Steam. We're going to put their store on our hardware after we spend hundreds of millions of dollars to make the hardware. Who would say yes to that? Just don't make any hardware. Let people go out, play on PC and subscribe to Game Pass. And then put Game Pass on other platforms, like you're putting your games on other platforms that are successful. Sony would allow Game Pass if the Xbox hardware didn't exist. The same way they allow EA Access and Ubisoft Plus, they would allow Game Pass. The problem is Microsoft still wants to try and sell hardware. They can't get around it, Soldier. They cannot get around Steam cannibalizing sales. They can't. And Valve is probably like, wait, what? Hold on. You want to spend millions of dollars on hardware, and then you don't even want people to use your store to buy games? You want to put our store on your platform? Okay, sure, go ahead. I mean, it's just like our store on PC anyway. Right? I mean, Steam exists on Macs. It's not Windows. So, I don't know. I don't know how that helps Microsoft. I don't know how that helps Xbox. I don't even know where the fuck I'm going right now. Restore power to the elevator. I don't know how long the stream has been. I've been ranting for a long time. But listen, I really don't care that deeply about this stuff. It's okay if you like your Xbox. If you think a PC is an Xbox, if you're fine with no exclusives, if you want to stand up all day long and say, I used to love Gears, Halo, and Forza, they really pushed the brand, they really made Xbox what it is, but I don't care if they're on PlayStation, because it's great for the industry. But please, don't go to your favorite sports team's event. Don't watch the draft. Don't root for your favorite team to get that star player exclusively on the team. And everything will be fine. I don't think they care. I have no. I don't know, like, game mode for Windows and all that stuff. Is any... As far as I can tell, like, nobody likes the Windows Store. And most people don't like Windows. So, I mean, there's just nothing else you can do. Pro-consumer company, and there's no other choice. Isn't it funny how that worked out? But before I end the stream, listen, I could be 100% wrong. The next Xbox could dominate the industry. Game Pass could have 170 million subscribers, and then everything is mute. And you can come back here and say, "Where are you, an idiot? Where are you thinking about the Play Store? Why would I think about the Play Store?" Yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, their next hardware has to be flat out the most powerful. It can't be this, like, kind of more powerful, and then every game that comes out for the most part performs better on PlayStation, right? Or they have to have a system that could weather a mid-gen refresh. Like, they can't have the next Xbox be powerful and then Sony comes out with PlayStation 6 Pro, and we're at the same position now where I'm playing Gears of War, and it's the best version on a PlayStation. Right? It's going to be expensive. People know it's going to be expensive. Just make it a beast. Right? A good controller. A good haptic controller. Good HD rumble motors. The rumble motors in the Xbox controller are garbage. They are absolutely terrible. Like, make something great. And I get it's going to cost money to make it, but charge for it. That's what the Xbox is. If the console becomes an app, then I'm just going to be on another console. That's the only thing that kills me. That's what I'm saying. Like, this game, Gears of War Reloaded, is like 70% better on the PlayStation 5 Pro. There's so many things that are better, and it just shouldn't be that way. I get the Pro is more powerful than the Series X, but there's look, I mean, when you look at, like, Metal Gear Delta, right? I mean, right now, the Series X runs that at a higher resolution than the Pro. That's obviously they're probably going to patch that, right? But I mean, make this game the best on the Xbox, even though you're giving it to other people on other platforms. That would make sense to me, but they can't even do that, which is just baffling. I don't want to rant this long about Xbox. Like I said, look, I could be completely wrong. Certainly not looking to make enemies. Like what you like, man. You know what I mean? Life's too short to, like, listen to other people tell you what you should like, what you shouldn't like. But it's also too short to try and convince yourself that the things that you love aren't worthy anymore because somebody told you. That's all. So, peace out. I can't believe I said peace out. That's like, I'm way too old to be using it. I'm way too old to be using words like that. Like, I hate when people say, what's the other one? What do you say? Just all the function of peace. Yeah, cool. Hopefully I can do, like, I don't like podcasting, man, because it just becomes like an argument, you know? Like, people have this, there's either Xbox podcasts or there's PlayStation podcasts, and then there's like other things that talk about games, but even that, like, people have this weird need to classify things, like it has to be this or it has to be that. It can't just be like, you know, somebody talking in general about stuff. And I just can't do like 3-4 hour fucking podcasts. I can't imagine. Like, there's so many things I want to be doing in those 4 hours rather than just sitting in front of a computer screen trying to convince somebody not to buy a toy. Yeah, maybe they update the next gen. I don't know. Like I said, the only reason really I still turn on my Xbox is the fact that, like, I turned on my Xbox yesterday. I downloaded the original Splinter Cell. I downloaded Pandora Tomorrow. I downloaded Chaos Theory, and I downloaded Conviction. It's Splinter Cell Conviction, all for the original Xbox and the Xbox 360. Conviction I purchased digitally on the 360, right? And it's still there in my queue. And those original Xbox games, I mean, they look and play fantastic, which is something that for some reason Sony just won't do with like Infamous or Killzone or the Ratchet Clank early games. It's baffling to me. So they definitely have the best backwards compatibility. Very BC stuff that even available today. What is great backwards compatibility. Yeah, it's crazy, right? That they even walked away from backwards compatibility. I get it; it's probably expensive. There's probably licensing involved, but I mean, like, holy shit, was it incredible? It is incredible. It's amazing to be able to do that. But here's on PlayStation, and why it's the best version of it on PlayStation. Like, why is Starfield? Why is the best version of Starfield going to be on a PlayStation? Why is the best version of Halo going to be on a PlayStation? Why is the best version of Indiana Jones on a PlayStation? Right? Why is Avowed, the best version of that, going to be on a PlayStation? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, you can do subscription services. You can say, like, exclusives are bad. You know, you can say the future is just perpetually never owning anything and just renting it. But at least make your games the best on your platform. It would be a little bit easier to swallow for me if that was the case. But it just seems like the type of Xbox gamer that I am, like the old school Xbox guys, I think Microsoft just doesn't want us as customers. It just feels that way. It feels like, you know, how dare you? How dare you want Halo to be exclusive? How dare you want it to be successful? How dare you want it to push our hardware? How dare you want our hardware to sell better? How dare you? And it's baffling. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And maybe I'm just seeing it through the eyes of, you know, somebody that's old, right? But I just don't see things changing. I get the same experiences that I've had in the past on PlayStation. And again, I usually only compare PlayStation to Xbox, not Nintendo, because Nintendo's so different. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's the suits. You know, the suits really don't understand the medium that they're in as a creative medium, right? As an art form. It's just another way to pack the financial statement, which, you know, all these companies want to make money, right? But there's ways to go about making money, right? I mean, you look at, everybody brings up this Iwata in Nintendo when he took a pay cut, right? Nintendo wants to make money, but they also understand as a brand who they are and what they need to do. And I think the corporate atmosphere and the constant need for growth every single quarter, nothing can grow forever. It's just not possible. But the need for that relegates games from Microsoft's point of view as just content, right? Just get anything and put it in there. And I don't think that's a great way to begin and end the creative process when it comes to an art form. And again, that's just my opinion. So maybe things change, maybe they don't. I'm not very optimistic when it comes to the next Xbox as far as it being successful. Now, I'm sure that at least the 20 or 30 so people who are super hardcore Xbox will probably buy it right out of the gate. But I don't think that's enough, you know? I just don't. Other than that, I think I need to go eat and then hop in the jacuzzi. Yes, it is. What is it, Tuesday? I think I need to relax. It's Tuesday, 12 o'clock. Time to eat! Alright, thanks for stopping by, guys. I hope I didn't make anybody angry. Like what you like. Xbox rules. Xbox gonna give it to you. I'm doing the Xbox symbol with my forearms right now, and I have an Aaron Greenberg poster. above my bunk beds. So, it's all good. I'm going to say peace again. Jesus.